Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got 'em for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's MRN Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. We are glad you joined us, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the day, our favorite time of the week. Erin Evernham and Steve Post here, and we have a great program for you coming up. We're going to talk to Brent Marks, picked up a big win at Port Royal Speedway, and we're going to talk to the big race winner last weekend, Bud Kaeding, out west, picked up the Peter Murphy Classic. So a great program along the way, and joining us after a rough week last week. Where were you at?
This little island called Turks and Caicos.
Bless your heart, which we said that last week on the show. I wouldn't say anything on the
It
show.
was
I wouldn't
really
say right
tough.
to your face.
I mean, the beach was
It was
horrible.
tough, exactly.
Yeah.
And like you were in the water and you could see the dirt,
I
the
know.
ground. You could see way down in the water and
Yeah.
everything.
Who
Yeah.
wants to swim in that?
Who wants to swim in
Yeah.
that? Exactly.
It was terrible, awful.
We hate to hear that you had such rough surroundings, but we're glad you're back. Good to see you.
good to be
and
back.
Man, a lot of great stuff in the
a
sprint
lot
car
of great
world.
stuff.
Unreal.
I was thinking that last night, just going through host heads and different sites to get information. I'm thinking this is when the half-hour show kind of hurts us.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
so much to talk about now.
Exactly. So
much to talk about.
exactly. Let's get right to it. Our classic ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. One of the hot topics has been Brian Brown.
Yeah.
Brownie picked up a World of Outlaw win a few weeks ago, but then he backed it up Saturday night at Knoxville.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that winning the opening night at Knoxville, even though it was rain out, but still the opening night is it's a huge thing. And even he said in Victory Lane, it's opening night kind of sets the tone.
Sets the tone. Now, he had a rough week, though, going into it.
Yeah.
A digestive issue put him in the hospital, so he gets out of the hospital and goes to Victory Lane at Knoxville.
Yeah, I'm friends with his wife Heather on Facebook, and she said, against everything that I had to say to him, I just knew he was going to get himself out of the hospital and get to the racetrack. And she said, I tried my hardest to tell him,
Yeah,
get
good luck
yourself
with that.
healthy. But
Yeah.
obviously, he
was
knew what
healthy
he was
and
doing, healthy enough to get to Victory Lane.
To get to Victory Lane. That might be the best medicine, getting
Yeah.
to Victory Lane. The other big classic ink screen printing and hot topic this weekend is Freddie Raymer. How about this? Now, we have watched these Raymer, I mean, face it, folks in Pennsylvania have watched these Raymer kids since
Yes.
Deb brought all three of them in the stroller.
Yeah.
Okay? And we've seen Freddie, Brandon, and Chessie. She's out playing lacrosse, I guess it is. But we've seen Freddie, and Freddie picked up a couple of Lincoln wins, had a win at Williams Grove, but might be one of those marquee wins that we have now. 9th to 1st, pass on the last lap.
Yeah.
Great racetrack, great field of cars, great win for Freddie Raymer. Future is bright up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And like you said, this could be a pivotal win. This could be the confidence that he needed. Like, I think we're going to see more and more wins out of him.
I think so too. I think what Fred did was really smart in that, first off, you have a father who's Fred Raymer, who's a Hall of Famer, okay? But Fred able to bring Stevie Smith into the fold for a few years
Yeah.
to kind of tutor and mentor Brandon and Freddie. I think that's paying dividends now, and I think it's really going to pay dividends because I'm with you. Floodgates might have been open on young Freddie Raymer, and boy, if that's the case, batten down the hatches in Pennsylvania, because if Freddie Raymer starts mixing it up with the Outlaws when they come into town and stuff like that,
boy.
oh my gosh, you're never going to hear the end of it from Beer Hill. It is exciting stuff and very exciting as well. The other classic ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics, we're going to cover them here today. And on Thursday's show, Bud Kaeding won the Peter Murphy Classic. We'll talk to Bud in a bit. Brent Marks returned home to win at Port Royal. And Sheldon Hodenshield, we'll talk to him Thursday on our weekend preview podcast. So those are the other classic ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. Classic ink screen printing and embroidery, www.classicinkusa.com. Great hats, great shirts, great hoodies, whatever you need for your race team, for sporting teams, for other events, for church events, or for your business. You can find out more information at classicinkusa.com. Brent Marks, he picked up the win at Port Royal, the Speed Palace. We'll talk to him next.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Today, Toyota's featured NASCAR fan is Dr. Tom Pierce.
So, Dr. Tom, what's your claim to fame?
Well, due to all of Toyota's NASCAR wins last year, I wrote thousands of doctor's notes for fans for overexcitement hypertension, a condition that requires a day off work to rest.
Sounds like a responsible doctor.
Doctor? I'm not a real doctor, bro. Would a doctor get a guy off work for overexcitement about the new Camry? Because I did.
Let's go NASCAR fans!
Toyota, let's go places. To learn more, visit ToyotaRacing.com. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
O'Reilly. When your battery goes dead, everything comes to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Welcome back. Thank you, Dale. It is MRN Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. And we have talked this year about the incredible young talent in the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Tour. And it's interesting that the young talent on the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car Tour got to shine on the weekend when they got rained out. Amazing. Sheldon Haudenschild went to Ohio. We're going to talk to Sheldon on Thursday on our preview podcast. But joining us now is a guy who went back home to Pennsylvania and rolled up to the Speed Palace on Saturday night and parked it in Victory Lane. Brent Marks joins us. Hello, Brent. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Got to be just very, very pumped up to go back home and able to score a win at Port. Tell us about the night.
Yeah, it was a great night, and it was great to be able to get back home and race at Port Row and just see all my fans and see my family and everything. It's been a little while, and it just felt really good to get back home and really have a no pressure night and just go out and have a lot of fun, and that's what we did.
Brent, when you got word that the World of Outlaw races were going to be rained out, how quickly did you make that decision to return home, and how did that work logistically?
Yeah, well, we were kind of planning it out during the week, because we were watching the weather and just kind of assumed that it was going to be a washout weekend because it just wasn't getting better. It only got worse. And, we were debating whether to go to Knoxville or to Port Royal. And, if the late decision was going to be made about Peevely, we were going to head up to Knoxville. But fortunately, they made a decision the night before, and we were going to be going home that week anyways to rebuild some cars and change some stuff around. So it just worked out that they canceled the night before, and we had enough time to make the 12-hour drive home to make it to Port. So it was a good thing that they were able to do that for us and let us get home a day early and also catch a race.
So you talk about rebuilding some stuff, changing things around. What's your assessment of the World of Outlaws? I mean, you've dreamed about it, you've talked about it, you've dabbled in it over the last few years. Now you just spent the last seeming like year and a half of your life in California. What types of things are you learning out there on the World of Outlaw Tour?
Yeah, it's been a real change of pace, and it's definitely a life-changing experience. And I've been really enjoying myself racing with the World of Outlaws, and I feel like I'm getting better, and we're learning a ton and learning a lot of things about different racetracks and things like that. So I haven't quite met my expectations so far this year, but I think with some of the changes we're making, we made some changes the other week there, the week of Devil's Bowl, and had 2 top 10 finishes, and then kind of brought it back to Port Royal here this past weekend and tried it out there. I got a pretty good deal going there at Port Royal, a setup that constantly gets me in the top 5, and I went back there and tried something totally different, something that we've been learning out there on the road, and went out there and won that race. So that was a good feeling too, to bring something that we learned on the road back home and apply it there on a track that I know, and it gave me some confidence. going into this weekend out in Indiana that we can apply different things to our race car and it's going to work. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Brent, you keep mentioning things that you've changed or things that you have learned on the road without obviously giving away your secrets. Is it something you've learned chassis setup wise as the crew chief? Is it something you've learned as a driver? What area is it that you think making these changes and learning in areas?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of setup and also me changing as a driver. I've learned to have to race the race car a lot differently at some of these racetracks and certain situations you get in, you have to react differently and just trying to change your driving style to get the car to react differently as well. So, if the car is off a little bit, I've learned different things with throttle and how I enter a corner and things like that'll make the car better. And like Port Royal, for example, Saturday we were off a little bit in the beginning of the feature, and I just couldn't really get going. And I just had to change my driving style up a little bit and change my line around some and the stuff that I've learned racing on little borings, actually I was able to apply to a big half mile. So it was really cool, to be able to bring that back home at a track that I know and then apply it to see if that's actually really working for me, and it is. So, there's so much to learn racing with the World of Outlaws. Number one is I'm doing it full time now, so I can, put 110% of my concentration into it and learn everything I need to learn. And, just racing with those guys, they're the best in the world. And they carry such a fast pace, and you just got to keep up with that pace. And it's just it's pretty surreal racing with the World of Outlaws, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
When you mentioned that you've learned as a driver different techniques to make the car go when it's not perfect and different things with pedals, is that something that you've self-taught or you've observed watching other drivers around you, or if you've been picking their brains, or how have you learned that out on the road?
Really, for me, it's just been kind of self-taught. I'm very observant as well. So, if I don't make a dash or, I'm in the first heat race, I'm able to watch the last two heat races. I just watch guys that are out there that are running really good. And I feel like I'm very good at watching a race car, so I can kind of tell what they're doing inside the race car to make their car do certain things as well. If they get in the middle of the corner and I can see like their car just kind of dip over on the right side a little bit, I know that they're getting out of the throttle there to allow the car to roll to stick that right front better to kind of get them around the corner better too. So I've kind of observed some of that watching some of these guys, and when I get in a predicament that I need to do that to my car as well, I've tried it and it works. And it's pretty cool to be able to apply things like that.
That is exciting. That really is exciting to hear the progress you're making behind the wheel, and of course with the team and everything else. Now, a Pennsylvania posse guy with the World of Outlaw Tour rolling back into Port Royal to win. Were they happy you won, or were they mad that you won?
No, they were actually really happy. I actually couldn't believe the amount of people that actually came to Port Royal just to watch me race. It was awesome. I had a lot of people come up to me and specifically tell me that, and I had a lot of people comment on my social media and tell me that they came to Port Royal to specifically see me, and it was really cool. Port Royal has been great to me. Every time I go there, I got a great race car, and it's just been fortunate to run like I do at Port Royal, and I think I've really built a great fan base, up there, and it's just awesome. It was great to get home and see everybody, and also hear those cheers and just feel the support of everybody, and especially with me going on World of Outlaw Tour, you never know how it's going to be, because the whole Pennsylvania World of Outlaw thing, it's just, you never know how it's going to be when you come back home, if they're going to boo you or if they're going to still, love you. So, they loved me Saturday night, so that was great. But I don't know how it's going to be when the World of Outlaw show actually does,
Stay tuned.
There, so.
Yeah, stay tuned, that's for sure. And it can change, that's for sure. They reserve the right to change their opinion all along the way. Hey, we are right against the break. Weikert Memorial, is that an option for you if you're standing tall after Charlotte, or is it not going to work logistically for you?
Yeah, no, I'm planning on racing it. It's going to be a really tough week to do it, but we're planning on doing Saturday, Sunday. I've always raced Charlotte, Friday night, and then always ran home to race Saturday night. But The only difference this year is we got to be in Lawrenceburg, Indiana on Monday night. So, it's going to be a tough weekend, but I plan on doing it. We'll watch the weather and just make a good decision on that. And I really love to race the white dirt races. The white dirts are awesome people, and I want to get there and support them.
Indeed. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're doing a Wing Nation show both nights before it, so hopefully we'll get a chance to work out and chat with you there on the stage at Port Royal. Congratulations on the win. Thanks for the time and joining us here today, Brent.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
There we go. Brent Marks joining us here on the program. Man, there's so much excitement there with what's going on with him. What a great young racer. And taking the talents back home and whooping everybody on Saturday night. Let's step away because speaking of great talents, Bud Kaeding, I'm sorry. Well, Brent's pretty Brent's got a little talent too. But Bud Kaeding, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
For over 50 years, drivers in sprint car, midget, micro, modified, and even dirt late model have taken the checkered flag on Weld Racing Wheels. Legendary drivers like Joe Saldana, Carl, Mark, and Steve Kinzer, Doug Wolfgang, and countless other racers have trusted Weld Racing Wheels for their superior strength and lightweight construction to finish ahead of the competition. With 50 years of race-winning engineering and technology, American-made Weld Racing Wheels are designed and built to withstand virtually any abuse you throw at them. Weld Racing. Proven speed.
O'Reilly. When your battery goes dead, everything comes to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today, midday. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
It is MRN Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Right on our strength. Having so much fun covering it from coast to coast this week. Indeed, let's go out to the West Coast because picking up the win worth $11,000 at Tulare in the Peter Murphy Classic is Bud Kaeding, who joins us on the line. Hello, Bud. Welcome back to the show.
How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me again.
Well, it is great to have you on board, especially great after a big win like that. Congratulations, and tell us what it's like to win a big race like the Peter Murphy Classic and how important it is to you.
Yeah, I mean it was a really big weekend for all of us. Not just because of winning the Murphy. We, Friday afternoon we lost a longtime supporter of our family and car owner, sprint car owner all across the country. I mean Bob Miller. I mean he owned race cars for my dad, Jack Hoddenchild, Lee James. I mean, you name it. He's been involved in auto racing for a long time, and so it was a pretty big weekend for my family. Not just because of winning the Murphy race, but winning that race as a tribute to Bob was really big for all of us.
But for those of us that didn't know Bob Miller all that well, tell us a little bit about him. Everything that I've read is really positive, and he had a great effect on people at the track and won a lot of races, owned cars. But tell us a little about him.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Bob pretty much my whole life. I mean, he owned Lee James's car, I think, when I was little, and then my dad started racing him in the late '80s and raced for him for about 8 years before he retired from owning race cars, and then. He became a race fan. I mean, Bob, he was everybody's friend at the track. I mean, there's not a person, I don't think, that you could ask from here to Knoxville to Syracuse that hasn't met him or he hasn't been there. And, Bob was really unique. He rode his motorcycle everywhere. He'd ride his motorcycle from here to Indianapolis, lived in my garage for a month during the month of May when I was living out there. And, he's a good old boy, never mad, never had a bad thing to say about anybody or anything. He was just a good time to be around, very positive on anybody. I mean, it was a pretty surprise, when he got sick just here a couple weeks ago. He had a stroke, and then things just kind of went downhill in a hurry. And I went and saw him in the hospital Friday morning, and just several minutes later, he had another heart attack and was just too weak to fight back at it. And, we're going to miss him. And, like I said, he owned race cars for a long time, but he was a super big race fan. He was always at the races. He'd ride back. He raced motorcycles when he was younger, and, he'd ride back to the Springfield Mile. And, he's a pretty big impact on our sport, I think.
Oh my gosh, Bud, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that really, I read a lot this weekend and saw a lot of your social media and everyone else, but you sharing those stories just means so much because there's so many key people like this that we don't ever want to forget in the sprint car world. And ironically, we've got you on here to talk about everybody but you. You won the Peter Murphy Classic, $11,000. This race, man, I'll tell you what, Peter Murphy, there's another one right there that gives back a lot for the sport.
Yeah, I've been, Pete moved over here in the 90s, and, he was racing out here for actually the people I'm racing for now, Maury and Katie Williams. And so it's pretty cool to win his event, not just winning his event, but win it in his car that, he won his first 410 race in the States in the Williams car actually at Tulare. So it was pretty cool. And, I was good friends with Pete when I was growing up racing out here on the West Coast when Pete first moved out. So, seeing him get hurt, well, that sucked out here on the West Coast for all of us. Pete was always a great personality around the racetrack, a good competitor, always a guy up in the front. And, to see him continue to get back to the sport is really neat. And, he's doing a lot of good things. This year his race is a few months earlier, so he was cut short on time on raising all the stuff he wanted to. I know he wasn't 100% happy with the effort that he was allowed to put into it just because of time, but still a great event. He raised a lot of money for everybody. I don't think there was a race team that left that track disappointed this weekend.
So let's actually talk about the race.
Yeah.
For everything I read, it sounded like you were great from the start of the night. Tell us a little bit about how the feature went and how it was to get in victory lane.
Yeah, they did some track prep. Just before the main event, they had a non-wing race before us, and it started taking rubber then. So Steve Faria there at the Thunderbolt, he's pretty good with the racetrack, and he's got plenty of equipment there. So he did some maintenance for about 30 minutes, and the track, was track position. The first half of the race was key. We never had any rubber in the race, but we got out to the front on the start, and we were pretty good throughout the whole race. The car was fast. We were able to rotate through the corners where it looked like a lot of guys were tight, kind of misjudged, how much effort he put into the track. So as far as the race went, it was really smooth for us. We led every lap. We were virtually unchallenged. We struggled getting through some lap traffic here and there, but, that's why they call it lap traffic. We're all out there racing, and we're all trying to get that spot ahead of us, regardless if the leaders are behind you or not. And, again, the race was flawless for us. Our car was good, and I think at one point we had a 5-second lead, so it was good. Those are the races you dream about. You don't have enough of them,
No, yeah. I am sure. You talked about the live track. I watched the video of it. Tulare, man, that place is, you can't get away from traffic. No matter what you do, 5-second lead, and you're still elbows up in race cars. So very, very exciting. Bud, so much is going on the West Coast with the King of the West Series and the Northern Auto Racing Club, the NARC Tour now as it's known. Of course, a couple of 360 tours around Silver Dollar Store. What's your plan? Where are you focusing your efforts on this year? Where might fans be able to see you kind of going forward into the season?
Well, my car owners are, they're supporters of 410 sprint car racing. We don't do a whole lot of 360 racing as it is. We'll race the bigger events. We just got our 360 back, actually, here last week. So we didn't run Friday night at Tulare. Just weren't prepared for it. But we'll be at all the Fujitsu NARC KWS races. And other than that, I wish I had a set schedule to tell somebody, but it's just on Saturday, if we run good, I'll get a phone call on Monday and say, hey, maybe we can go here on Friday if it's not a points race for us. So kind of our car owners, actually, Maury and Katie, they're both battling little, knee surgery and stuff here and there. So don't want to get out too far away from them. They're unable to join us at the track right now. So hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, everyone will be back to 100% and we'll be able to get back on a set schedule.
That's understandable. That really is. We need to get them healthy so they can celebrate in victory lane with you. That's for sure. Well, Bud,
that's right.
No doubt. Well, congratulations. So happy for you on that big win. And can't wait to see what the season has for you. But thanks for joining us here on Winged Nation.
Yeah, hopefully we'll
we can do good enough, you guys will have us back on the air a couple times.
We'll work on you. You do your part, we'll do ours. Okay.
That sounds good.
All right. Thanks, bud.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You got it. There we go. That is Bud Kaeding. Wow, we've had two great stories here.
Yes.
Great stories. Let's step away. We got more MRN Winged Nation coming up, including a great story from the Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
I'm Danny Holcraver, and you're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Only the best go 3 abreast, and they're coming to a track near you in 2017. No matter where you're at, the American Sprint Car Series is near you. From the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, presented by the Mad TV Motorsports Network, to any of the 7 ASCS Regional Tours, there's over 150 nights of racing to choose from in 2017. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Listen live on RacingBoys.com and get the full rundown at ASCSRacing.com.
Classic Ink USA Screen Printing and Embroidery is constantly testing the limits of custom racewear and specialized embroidery. Headquartered in Western Pennsylvania, Classic Ink holds the highest standard, maximizing your return as well as the ultimate customer satisfaction. From track swag, fanwear to quick crew wear, Classic Ink has you covered. Their dedicated staff and designers will keep your race team and fans looking sharp. Contact Classic Ink today and get your team ahead of the competition. www.classicinkusa.com. That's Classic Ink, at the track and on your back.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest feature exhibit is our Salute to Champion Sammy Swindell, June 9th through October 15th, at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Stop in and check out 8 of Sammy's original race cars and see his trophies, uniforms, and more as you learn about his outstanding career. The Salute to Champion Sammy Swindell is only this season at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
This is Tony Stewart. You're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Thank you, Tony. It is great to have you along with us here. It is MRN Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Erin Evernham and Steve Post. Just fascinating conversation with both Brent Marks and with Bud Kaeding. Some great stuff. Also some great stuff always happens right in turn number 2 at the Knoxville Raceway. Of course, where Brian Brown picked up the win on Saturday night. It is the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. And Erin, every week I kind of go through and I go through their birthday calendar. And I mean, every week I learn something. I got a nugget this week that I never even realized, okay? A Sunday birthday, Bob Berman. Bob died in 1916, okay? So he only lived 31 years. He was a 2011 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He was born in Michigan, and in 1909 he won the Presto Light Trophy race, okay? The Presto Light Trophy race was a race held at Indianapolis Motor Speedway before the Indy 500. I assumed that the Indy 500 was it. But the Presto Light race ran 2 years before the Indy 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Bob Berman won it.
I had no idea.
No idea either. That's the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. You walk in there and it's like, wow, I didn't know that.
So that's why it was the 100th running.
That would okay.
Yeah,
that would
I
make
get it.
Exactly. But exactly.
Well,
See, we're learning all kinds of things.
I didn't know it was a Presto Light. I thought it was always the Indy 500.
I know exactly. See, Bob Baker is helping us here out at the Hall of Fame.
Educating us.
He's educating us, exactly. He did run the first 5 years of the Indianapolis 500. Wow. Best finish was 6th. Died in a road racing accident in Corona, California, along with 3 spectators. And his death triggered Barney Oldfield and Harry Miller to start incorporating roll cages on cars. Okay? Other birthdays, Monday. So Bob Berman, salute to Bob, as far as that goes, 2011 inductee into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Monday, Kenny Jacobs' birthday, one of our favorites. Thursday would be the birthday of Earl Baltus. Friday, George Tatnall. Saturday, Ed Shepard, Louis Rusty Espinosa, and Jerry Carl. All of those stories are told at the Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Folks, you need to get there. Even if you're not close to Knoxville, it's worth the drive to get to the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. SprintCarHof.com, and for great collectibles, SprintCarStuff.com. That's the world's largest sprint car gift shop. Oh, love that place. Love that stuff. We've got a great program coming up for you on Thursday. Sheldon Hodenshield going to join us. Can't wait to talk to him. Kind of get his take, sort of like Brent Marks.
Yep.
And on Saturday, Sam Haferteep Jr., he's 5 for 5 with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, and he joins us on MAV TV. Hey, thanks for joining us here on MRN Winged Nation, presented by
You've been
Hercules
listening
Tires.
to Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tire, ride on our strength. You can also find Winged Nation on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and in the MRN.com Media Center. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.